Are Arsenal actually good enough? It's a question that I've been having since the Manchester City game at the weekend. Because on the surface, it felt familiar. A big game, a strong performance, effort, intensity, structure, all there. But how familiar did it feel to you to that PSG game in the Champions League semi-finals last year? The result wasn't there, we didn't get it over the line, and now what once looked like a 9 point lead and the title seems to be a straight shootout and a 50-50 with Manchester City, who are serial winners. So the question isn't just an emotional one anymore, it's real. Are Arsenal good enough to win the Premier League? Let's be fair, the performance against Manchester City wasn't bad at all. In fact, in many ways, it was solid. On another day, it could be very different. Obviously, Eze had his shot that cannoned off the post. Kai Havertz took two chances and missed them. One was the header, one was the 1v1 with Donnarumma. We probably deserved a draw on the balance of play, and suddenly the narrative would obviously shift that's going across the media at the moment. But that's the problem. The game model is built so much on getting those fine margins on the other side of them to get points that small margins are massive in how we play the football, and sometimes they go against us. That doesn't mean the system is broken, but what it does mean is that we don't have the luxury that chaos provides. To determine how good we are at football, we have to be honest about where we are. Arsenal were once 9 points clear in this Premier League season. Now we're in a straight fight with Manchester City. We were clearly, for about 70% of the season, the best team in the Premier League. We were a team who didn't panic, who didn't let leads slip, a team that knew exactly how to win, and we knew who we were. We relied on our defensive stability and the system to get us through in games, and even when we didn't play well, we'd nick a goal from a set piece or from some form of attrition, and ultimately we would then see the game out. So what do we go and do from here when the system is slightly broken, when the mentality is a bit fragile, when we need a bit of a lift? What do Arsenal do? I think that we have to keep it simple. We have to just look at winning each individual game as they are, do our best, perform like we did against Man City, and that's it. But the question is, do we have the individual talent and brilliance to be able to achieve that, to be able to win when we're not playing well now, to be able to get a goal out of nothing? Obviously, there is certain players in the squad who can do that. I think Eze is massive for that, and it's a shame he went off against Man City because he is a player who can sort of score out of nothingness. Another player who is like that is Bukayo Saka. Obviously, we need him fit. Ødegaard, I think, isn't necessarily a moment's player, but he consistently will allow to elevate the players who are the moment's players because he will get the ball to them reliably. Now, that is where it comes down a little bit, because if Eze isn't playing, or Saka's injured like he is now, or Ødegaard's been injured for the whole season, then ultimately we just rely on the system, and that's when the system can be used against us, because the base of solid defensive work and hoping something happens only works if something does happen. If you look at our individuals, the answer is we do not have the quality in those areas, really. Arsenal don't have the same attacking firepower as Manchester City. They don't have the maverick match winners, really, other than maybe Eze. But here's the key point. This Arsenal team were never built to be the Mavericks. They were never built on individuals. That's not what makes this Arsenal Arsenal. It's about structure, it's about cohesion, and it's about collective understanding to achieve the goal. And ironically, that in recent times has drifted slightly. Because against City there were flashes, Martin Ødegaard finding space, Eze operating between the lines, taking those shots, and Havertz linking up play. For moments you could see the old Arsenal, fluid, connected, and dangerous. But only in moments. The tactical adjustment that's needed, like what is needed, what needs to change, for me, not everything, just enough. Arsenal don't need a complete overhaul, otherwise we'd be undoing years of work from Mikel Arteta. They just need a slight tweak to the system to allow a bit more risk in the central areas, to actually try and access through the central areas would be a start. To be able to play in that zone 14, to be able to play a bit quicker, maybe a little bit more tempo and a bit more risk, that's what we need. For me, I love watching Arsenal play. I don't mind the style. My issue with it sometimes is I just feel we're a bit stagnant on the ball. Sometimes we just need to increase the tempo and the speed that we play with. But all that can be taken into account. But one thing that we need to not lose sight of, our defensive foundation. Because the foundation is elite. This arguably is the best defensive team in the world. So act like it. And at the same time, certain players can become essential. Martin Ødegaard has to stay fit. He's the connector. He drives the whole system. And interestingly, his presence reduces the need for someone like Martin Zubimendi to play every minute. We can take Martin Zubimendi out for a rest because Ødegaard will link the defence, the security, the progression that's needed from the defence to the midfield to the attack. Now, obviously, with Arsenal, key relationships and form comes into it. We have players who can play together, but equally we're out of form. The right-hand side is something that 2 years ago was massive for us. We have players like Bukayo Saka, Ben White and Ødegaard heavily dictating how we attacked and heavily relied on. And in many ways that could be a quite quick fix. If Bukayo Saka could come back to fitness and we could play Ben White and Ødegaard on that right side for the first time in over a year and just let them do their thing, it would be a joy. Because we don't need to rewrite the model, we don't need to change it much, but we just need something to show an attacking identity, and they were our attacking identity for so long. So let's run back 2024. Let's get Ben White fully sharp. Let's get Bukayo Saka back, and let's keep Ødegaard fit. And then maybe we can actually just start, finding ourselves again. That triangle, the chemistry, the understanding is all there already. Sometimes the answer isn't innovation. It's remembering who you are. There's also the bigger picture. At the start of the video, I asked you, are Arsenal good enough? Is the group of players good enough? Well, they are elite. You don't get to be 9 points clear in a Premier League season without being elite. Technically, they're outstanding footballers. Tactically, they're intelligent. To me, it feels like they've hit a brick wall, whether that be mental, fatigue, or physical. But they've been operating at 100% for such a long time. I understand how hard it could be for this set of players. And I think that means it's important that as a collective fan base, everything, we try to help them drag it over the line. Because right now they're suffering. The team's suffering. Arsenal are suffering. But that doesn't mean we have to suffer forever. We can do this. We can get them. The players can find that other level. We just need to ensure that, well, we can't do anything, but Arteta needs to ensure that rotation occurs. Freshness is going to be key for the next 5 games because we've also got massive Champions League games with Atletico Madrid in that stretch. If we can get through to the Champions League final, then maybe that's the uplift we need. A good first leg versus Atletico could really turn around the excitement at the club, because the final stretch isn't about quality, it's about endurance. And what we need to then look at is the immediate focus. We need to switch back to just focusing on one game a week, not the overarching story of the season. Next up, we have Newcastle United at home. They've lost 3 games in a row. This isn't the time to overthink. Keep it simple. Defensive solidarity. More tempo, slightly more risk, just do the job, because Arsenal are close. Really, really close. If we do that, if we play the same lineup we played against City and in the same manner that we played against Man City, we will win the game against Newcastle quite comfortably. Bring in Havertz, bring in Eze, bring in Ødegaard. Hopefully, if he's fit, bring in back Saka. Maybe even try Dalman on that right wing, but overall, don't make too many changes. Play the same tactical security and intensity, and we can start off strong against Newcastle and hopefully get the result that we really do desire. So, let's go back to the question. Are Arsenal good enough to win the Premier League? Individually, I'd argue probably not, but this team wasn't built on individuals. They don't have chaos creators. They don't necessarily have the attacking depth of Manchester City or necessarily even the attacking quality. But that's never been the point, has it? This team isn't built on individual brilliance. It's built on discipline, structure, hard work, togetherness. That is Mikel Arteta's identity. That's what got them here. So yes, Arsenal are good enough, but only when they play like Arsenal. Not individuals, a machine. Find that again, dominate all areas, and they can win every game. And if they win every game, they win the league. Thank you for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. I hope you have enjoyed this video. And yeah, let me know in the comments below, how are you feeling about the Gunners? Are we going to get it over the line? Probably not, but we can all pray. Thank you and goodbye.